Happy morning to all girls. Welcome you once again for my English class. Today we are going to see and discuss that is Unit 3 Short Story 2. Title is Little Girls Wiser Than Men, written by Leo Tolstoy. First, we are going to see about the writer Leo Tolstoy. Born, actually his full name Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. Born on September 9th, 1828, he was a Russian writer. Okay, died on 20th November 1910, aged 82. He was at the same place, Astava, Ryazan, Government Russian Empire. So Leo Tolstoy. So his period was 1828 to 1910. A Russian author, best known for his two longest works, that is Wars and Peace. Sorry, I did a misspelling mistake here. War and Peace, 1865 to 69, and Anna Karenina, 1875 to 77. And Karenina. Actually, this too is a longest work of Leo Tolstoy. Among Tolstoy's shorter works, The Death of Invalinji, 1886, is usually classed among the best example of the novel. So the best example of new work, that is the Death of Invalinji. Matthew Arnold quoted his words, Tolstoy novels and complimented. Okay, a novel by Tolstoy is not a work of art, but a piece of life. So Matthew Arnold assessed Tolstoy's novels and complimented, a novel by Tolstoy is not a work of art, it is a piece of life. So this is about the short story. The story Little Girls Wiser Than Men is about a small quarrel between two little girls. The girl's name is Malasha and Akulya. Okay, so these two girls are very important in this short story, important character. So Malasha and Akulya. On a rainy day, the quarrel leads to argument and debates among the elders in the families. But what does the elders learn from the little girls is the climax of the story. Okay, in this forgiveness is a very important. When you forgive, your life will be peaceful. So here the concept also same thing. So the story Little Girls Wiser Than Men it's a wonderful moral based story. How Akulya and Malasha, they were quarrel leads to argument and the debates among the elders in the family. At last the girls teach a moral to their elders. So that's why it was considered Little Girls Wiser Than Men. So everyone knows that the elders behave like a child, but child actually teach the moral to elders. So in the story we are going to learn the same part. So a little girls wiser than men. It was an early Easter. Okay, it was an early Easter time. It was a holy week. Sludging was only just over. Snow still lay in the yards and water ran in streams down the village street. Actually, sludging means what would you say? So it was an early Easter. Okay, it is a Easter festival. The Christian or those who are celebrating the resurrection of a Christ from death is called a Easter day. So it was an early Easter. Sludging was only just over. That means sludging means the activity of traveling across the snow on a sledge. Okay, activity of traveling across the snow on a sledge. Snow still lay in the yacht, so it was in the rainy as well as the rainy season. So snows are still lay in the yacht. Okay, and water ran in streams down the village street. So what happened, the rainy waters are runs like a stream down to the village street. Two little girls from different houses happened to meet in a lane between two homesteads. Okay, um, so after their after this service, two girls were met in the lane between two houses. That means the edge of the streets. Okay, where the dirty water after running through the farmyards. So the puddle. Okay, the stream of water it's become a dirty one, and then it is in the puddle form. Okay, so the dirty water after running it through the farmyards had formed a large puddle. So what happened, from the dirty water was after running through the farmyards, it formed a large puddle. Okay, large puddle, it means what we have to say, water, full of water, it make it as to be a puddle. One girl was very small, the other a little bigger. Okay, the two girls name is Malasha and Akulya. In that, one was small and other was little bigger. Their mothers had dressed them both in new frocks. Both the mothers are dressed them with a new frocks. Okay, new dress. They were so the girls wear a new dresses. The little one wore a blue frock. So little one wore a blue frock. The other one was a yellow printed frock, and both had a red kerchiefs on their heads. Okay, so one is wore a blue frock and the other one is a yellow printed. Both are had a red kerchief on their heads. They had just come from church. Okay, that means after finishing the service, after finishing the holy day service, mass, they had just come from church when they met, and first they showed each other their finery and then they began to play. So first of all, after coming from the church, both are showed their each finery. That means they shown their new dress, each one. Okay, and then they began to play, and then they started to play. Soon the fancy took them to splash about in the water. So suddenly, what happened? They got a idea to took them to splash about in the water. Okay, through the lake. So they started, and the smaller one was going to step into the puddle. So the smaller one, little by little, going into the puddle, shoes and all. Okay, when the elder checked her, okay, when the smaller one started to go inside the puddle little by little. Okay, the elder one checked her shoe. Don't go in so, Malasha. Okay, said she. Your mother will scold you. So don't go in. Okay, don't go in the puddle, Malasha said. She, your mother will scold you. She said, I will take off my shoes and stockings and you take off yours. Okay, she's replied, I will take off my shoes, okay, and stockings and you take off your shoes, she said. They did so, and then picking up their skirt began walking towards each other through the puddle. So both are in the puddle. So just picking up their skirts and begin to walk towards the each other. Okay, opposite to opposite each other, towards each other in the puddle. The water came up to Malasha's ankle. Okay, ankle means you know that it connecting part of a foot and leg is called the ankle point. So what happened? The water come up to Malasha's ankle, and she said, "It's deep, Akulya. I'm afraid." So she said, "It's very deep. I'm getting afraid," she said. So, come on, replied that other one. Okay, don't be afraid. Come on, let be. She replied, don't be frightened. It won't get any deeper. Okay, don't be frightened. It won't get be deeper, she said. And then when they got near one another, Akulya said, Malasha, don't splosh. Okay, don't splash. Everyone knows that if we see a water means we will through our leg we will splash the water. Okay, so mind Malasha, don't splash. So the other girl has said, be careful. So don't splash. Walk carefully. She had hardly said this. After that, she said very hardly when Malasha plumped down her foot so that the water splashed right onto Akulya's frock. So what happened? Malasha plumped down her foot. Forcefully, she splashed the water. That the water splashed right on the Akulya's frock. Okay, so now Akulya's frock was become dirty because of Malasha's activity. Okay, the frock was splashed. And so were Akulya's eyes and nose also. Okay, not only her frog, his face also become dirty. The splash water was spreaded to her eyes and nose. When she saw that stain on her frock, okay, she was angry and ran after Malasha to strike her. Okay, when Akulya sees that her strain on her frock, she was become very angry. Okay, and after Malasha to strike to she fastly to reach Malasha to strike. Malasha was frightened. Okay, and seeing that she had got herself into trouble, so she scrambled out of the puddle and prepared to run home. Okay, what happened? Now Akulya is very angry. Ran after towards to Malasha to strike her. Malasha was she was frightened at that time because she is in a trouble. For what she's decided, she scrambled out. She's just come out of the puddle and prepared to run home. Okay, just then Akulya's mother happened to be passing. Okay, and seeing that her daughter's skirt was splashed and her sleeves dirty, she said, okay, Akulya mother said. So what happened? Her frocks were dirty, and then her sleeves are going to dirty. She said, okay, you naughty, dirty girl. She catched Malasha. Okay, she tried to catch what you have been doing. So she asked, what you have been done, what you have been doing here. See, Akulya's dress were become dirty. See, she plased or no, so her frock is become dirty. Malasha didn't on purpose. Malasha did it on purpose, replied that girl. Okay. At this, Akulya's mother seized Malasha. So actually, Akulya said to her mother, Malasha intently she did that. See, at this, Akulya's mother seized Malasha and struck on her back of her neck. Okay, Malasha began to oval. That means she started to cry loud, so that she could be heard all down the street. Her mother came out. So what happened? Malasha's mother came. All the people's, our neighbors, are all came out. What are you beating my girl for? Malasha's mother said. She and began scolding her neighbor. Say that without finding the mistakes, they began to fight, scolding her neighbors, and then one word led to another, and they add an angry quarrel. So one word lead to another word, and then the choral become very had an angry choral. Okay, so in the beginning it was going, but suddenly Akalya's mother is scolding the neighbors, and then the neighbors, everyone gathered together and started to quarrel. Okay, with angry manner. The men came out, and a crowd collected in the street, everyone shouting and no one listening. Okay, all are scolding to each other, but no one is listening. At the time, one man came out, and collected in the street have to become collected, the crowded, everyone shouting and no one is listening. Okay, the situation is like everyone at the time scolding, but no one is listening. Okay, but the choral is going. They all went on quarreling, till one gave another a push, and the affair had very nearly come to blows, when Akulya's old grandmother among stepping in among them, tried to calm them. Okay, so everyone, they started to, the choral is become very serious, and then what happened, they all went to on quarreling, till one gave another a push. Okay, till one another gave the push, and their affair had very nearly comes to blow. Okay, and then when Akulya's old grandmother stepping out among them, tried to calm them. Okay, so the grandmother came out among them, she tried to calm out the quarrel. So at last what happened? What are you thinking of, friends? Is it right to behave so on a day like this? Too, it is a time for rejoicing and not for such folly as this. Grandmother said, okay, what are you thinking, friends? It is the right to behave, this is the right to fight, this is the way to quarrel, this is the day to like this, in this day like this too. So actually the day is a Easter day, no? So the grandmother, it is a time to for rejoice, okay, not for such folly, not for finding a mistake. They would not listen to the old man. Okay, the the collected neighbors are, and then the Akulya's mother and Malasha's mother, no one is not ready to listen the old man, and nearly knocked her off her feet, and she would not have been able to quiet the crowd also. The grandmother is tried, but she not able to quiet the crowd. If it had not been for Akulya and Malasha themselves, actually, if it had not been for Akulya and Malasha themselves, while the women were abusing each other, okay, Akulya had wiped the mud off her frock and gone back to the puddle. Okay, she took a stone and began scraping away the earth in front of the puddle to make a channel through which the water could run out into the street. So the fighting is going continuously, it's going. Okay, the grandmother, Akulya's grandmother, also tried to convey solve the problem, but no one is ready to listen her word. Actually, while the women were abusing each other, okay, women, both the women are spoiling and then abusing each other, And then Akulya had, what happened, Akulya, what she did, she just wiped her stain on her frock, and he gone back to puddle, and she took a little stone and began to scrub away the earth, okay, in front of the puddle, to make a channel. She just create a way, okay, through which the water could run out into the street. Presently, Malasha joined her, and with a cheap wood helped her dig the channel. So, along with the Agalya, Malasha also joined, okay, with her, and she, with the cheap wood, helped her to dig the channel. So, she helped to dig the make the channel. So, both are doing that. Just as the men were beginning to fight, the water from the little girl's channel ran streaming into the street towards the very place where the old woman was trying to specify the men. The girls followed it, one running each side of the little stream. So, at last, what happened? They are doing making the channel, okay, just as the men was beginning to fight, the water from the little girl's channel ran stream into the street towards the very place, that means dirty place, towards the dirty place where the old woman was trying to specify the men, okay, the old woman trying to specify the men. The girls followed it, one running each side of the little stream, okay. So, catch it, Malasha, catch it, shouted Akalya, while Malasha could not speak for laughing, okay, highly delighted and watching the cheek float along on their stream. The little girls ran straight into the group of men, and the old woman, seeing them, said to the men. So the both are actually the fighters for the those girls who are playing in the puddle. They only created the choral, okay. But the choral is continuing. The men is going to beginning the fight, but the two girls are make a channel in the puddle, and then the water is running towards the running in the street. It was a worry, and then the girls are playing at the time. Akulya shouted, Malasha, catch, catch, but Malasha could not speak, just she is laughing, okay, highly delighted. It is a highly enjoyable moment, and watching the sheep float, okay, along on their stream. So this one shows that how it shows their two children were fighted, but after a moment they forgot that, they continue to play, and then they are enjoying. The little girls ran straight into the group of men, and the old woman, seeing them, said to the men, okay. So the water is going to this running to the street. They both are catching. Actually, the water is near to the group of men, and then the old woman, watching and seeing them, said to the men, okay, are you not ashamed of yourself? See, to go fighting on account of these lassies, when they themselves have forgotten all about it and are playing happily together. Dear little souls, they are wiser than you. So the old woman was shouting, are you not ashamed of yourself? See, you are fighting on account of these lassies, these cuties, okay, we will say these cuties, these little girls, for these girls, when they themselves have forgotten all about it and were playing happily together, or actually they themselves forgot all the whatever happened, okay, and they are playing happily together. Dear little souls, they are wiser than you, oh, wiser than you. So the men looked at the little girls and were ashamed, and laughing at themselves went back to each to his own home. Actually, when the man was looked, then he actually ashamed, and laughing then at themselves, all are went back to their in his own home. So, accept the truth and become as a little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. Accept a turn and become as the little children, you shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. So forgiveness is very very important. If you forgive, your soul will be peaceful in your life.
Written is early hours. Now, let's start the summary of the story. The time when the story is written is early Easter. The snow is slowly melting, welcoming the summer, and this melted snow forms small streams in the village street. Two girls, Malasha and Akulya, they went to their church services, and when they were returning home, they happened to meet in a lane where the dirty water had formed a large puddle. Both girls were beautifully dressed. Their mothers had dressed them both in new frocks. They chatted, they played, and kept walking back to their house, and they had even removed their shoes so that they can play in the water. When they got near one another, Akulya warned Malasha. She said, "Mind, Malasha, don't splash. Walk carefully. Your mother will scold you." But Malasha slumped her foot heavily, splashing the dirty water on Akulya's new frock and face. When Akulya saw the stains on her frock, she got angry and ran after Malasha to strike her. Just then Akulya's mother noticed her daughter's dirty frock. On seeing her daughter's dirty frock, Akulya's mother got very angry and started scolding her. She said, "You naughty girl, what have you been doing?" Then Akulya said that Malasha dirtied her dress and she did it on purpose. This made Akulya's mother very angry, and she suddenly held Malasha and struck her on the back of her neck. And Malasha began to cry, and after listening, Malasha's holding, her mother came out and began scolding her neighbor, that is Akulya's mother. She asked, "What are you beating my girl for?" One word led to another, and this led to quarrel, and they had an angry exchanges among the neighbors, and people started gathering around them. And later on, their father joined the fight. The fight goes to such an extent that they all were pushing, abusing, quarreling in loud tones. Everyone was shouting and no one was listening. Then Akulya's old grandmother stepped out and tried to calm the crowd, but the crowd did not listen to her. While they all were fighting, Akulya had wiped the mud off her frock, and she goes back to the puddle, and Malasha also joined her. Forgetting their differences, the two little girls met together, went back to the puddle. They made a channel out of the puddle and they followed it with delight. Akulya's grandmother notices this, and she calls the elders and points out to the little girls who are playing happily. She said, "Children are wiser than men." Hearing this, all the men and women felt ashamed of themselves, and they quietly returned to their homes. Now, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is we should not quarrel to others, and we should adopt an attitude of forgetting and forgiving, just like these two little children in the story. Thank you, students.
Thank you, girls. I forgive and I set myself free. I forgive and I set myself free. So I hope you are all understand the concept of this short story, and I think you were enjoyed this. Thank you, girls. Thank you for watching. I hope you are all understand my lecture. In this lecture, you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. I hope you are all enjoyed the story. So I forgive and I set my life free. I forgive and I set my life free. So I hope you are also you just learn some little thing in this short story. Thank you, girls. And then, so if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section.